ask me where me get it from. I told them no, no, it's from creation. I told them no, no, it's from creation. Bam, bam, hey yo, what a bam, 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 dilang, bam, 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 dilang, bam, bam, hey, what a bam, bam, ta what a bam, bam. This woman never trouble no one. I'm a lady, I'm not a man. MC is my ambition. I come free nice of Jamaican. So bam bam, ta what a bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam. Hey yo, I me say what a bam bam. Tell me say what a bam bam. Hey yo, tell 'em, me born and me grow in a Princeton 6. I not see right the Christmas lyrics. When you hear them, you sound like Christy Biscuit. You come in at the place and me say, well, slick. Keep bam bam, hey yo. Ta what a bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, hey yo. Ta what a bam bam, hey yo. Say what a bam bam. That's some of them a sing you a come and shout them plan. I told them no, no, me a one business woman. Sister Nancy she a 1 in a 3 million. Sister Nancy she a 1 in a 3 million. So bam bam, say what a bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, hey. Say go, Sister Nancy, make you go. I tell you say fi go, Sister Nancy, make you go. I know it from me head straight down to my toe. I teach her down, Sister Nancy on the go. And some of them a ask her, Sister Nancy, make your bad so. Long down the list, Sister Nancy, make your bad so. He bam bam, what a bam bam. He bam bam dilang, bam bam. He bam bam dilang, bam bam. What a bam bam. Hey yo, tell me say what a bam bam. This woman, I never trouble no one. I'm a lady, I'm not a man. MC is my ambition. I come feel nice up Jamaican. So bam bam, say what a bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam. Hey, tell me say one thing Nancy can't understand. One thing Nancy can't.
Oh, how sweet the day I saw his face. His name was Jesus and he took my place. And that's the day I saw my sins erased. I did my best to ruin this old life of mine, and yet you still pursued me to the very end. coming up only to hold you under, and coming up only to show you wrong, and to know you is hard, and we wonder. To know you all wrong, we won. Really too late to call, so we wait for morning to wake you is all we got. But to know me as hardly golden is to know me all wrong, they would. At every occasion I'll be ready for the funeral. At every occasion once more, it's called the funeral. Every occasion, oh, I'm ready for the funeral. Every occasion, oh, 1 billion day funeral. I'm coming up only to show you down for, and coming up only to show you wrong. To the outside, the dead leaves, they are alone, for they die in dead trees, hang their fall.
Hello and welcome to our first ever episode of Amateur Hour. My name is Tech4, I'm your host, and I'm here with Mock. Mock, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Excited to get this show going, that's for sure. So obviously, anyone new to this show, first off, thanks for joining in. Today we're going to talk a little bit about amateur tier and RSC. We might talk a little about contender too, we'll see. Really, we had an upcoming draft on Monday. We're going to focus a little bit on that, but before we get there, Mock, you last season was your first season in RSC, correct?
Yes, first season.
How did you find RSC?
It was quite a journey. Coming from other games, I always enjoy doing competitive stuff, and RSC was kind of like a very dynamic environment where, at least in Amy, people got better really quick. So that was my surprise for me. So I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping to get another good season on Contender now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you've moved up to Contender. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You and your teammate Taz. How's the Contender team looking so far?
Well, we have one, two, three, four people now, so the team is pretty much built. Uh, but you never know. Maybe one, two pieces come in, come out. RSC moves really fast. Now with the draft coming, things are moving light speed space at this point.
No, absolutely for sure. And obviously, this new now being on Contender, it's kind of opened you up to picking up a scouting role. How's that been going?
Well, it's been quite a journey. I will say I had to take what I learned from last season and try to apply that. Uh, but scouting in Amy is a quite it's quite a difficult job just because the skill level is quite uh broad. It ranges. The ranges are way too high. So somebody can be really really good and other people can be really really not so good. Um, so I think Skami has the biggest skill gap of all of RSC. So it's really interesting to be a scout for sure.
No, I bet. I mean, obviously, I've been someone that's been going to combines and playing and everything, but I was just picked up this past week, so being able to go to the last couple combines and just kind of sit back and watch. Now I'm not a scout, but like still just like, man, it's an interesting experience.
Oh, you probably realize yourself that it gets crazy sometimes.
Oh yes. You're just looking at a bunch of people driving around. You don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard because you definitely need to see where they're liking and like how much improvement can they make in what how many games do we have, like 18, 20, something like that.
It's a lot.
So it's that the season seems to be long, but it goes by quite fast, to be honest. And so you need to pick people that have good potential more than it doesn't matter how good they are now, but it does matter how much potential they have to improve, and that's one of the things that me as a scout I try to really get on. It's just potential.
No, for sure. I mean, I don't know how many people I've talked to, and they're talking not only like, well, these players are good. This one, like, really, we think he has a good opportunity to improve, and you have to kind of balance, right? Like, you definitely want the best team at playoffs, not necessarily the best team right now, but at the same time, you kind of got to make playoffs too, right?
Well, yeah, and it's the fact that as a scout, that's not an AGM. You're working always in the dark a little bit, right? Because you never know what the cap is going to be for the salary. So you guess at the best of your abilities, and then it's up to the AGMs and GMs to make that decision.
No, for sure. No, I was just kind of find an interesting piece. I mean, I'm kind of living through you a little bit. Like, I'm glad that you're able to do that. I'm kind of just sitting back and just having fun. Like, next season maybe, but like this season, I'm on my team. I'll just hang out with all the Amis, have a good time. Like that's all I need to do right now. Shout out to Ned and Bernatra. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Ned, I don't know how much you want to still be an Ami, but like, I get it. It's a fun place to be for sure.
Hey, Amy is a good place to be. I'll be honest with you. It's fun. It's quite a ride, and it's because the you only have 12 teams, right? I think that's where we're at now. 12 teams. Oh, 8 teams. You got 8 this season, so there's only so many places for the playoffs, and it's really really tight. Everything it's really really tight. So you could go from last to first or maybe second in like a matter of freaking, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. So you never know. So that's one of the reasons why AIM is such a cool tier to be in.
I also like it just because no one takes it too seriously, right? Like, or for the most part, everyone like we know we suck. we're just trying to suck less than other people, and that's it. No one, not, or at least I shouldn't say no one. Not too many people kind of get whatever you want to call it. They don't get like a hot head or anything. So it's just kind of fun.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, if you get a hot head on Amy, yeah. Yeah.
So we have had a couple things happen in amateur already. Obviously, draft is on Monday, but does not mean that signings aren't open and some draft picks are trade. I've already mentioned that I was picked up. I've been picked up by Pantheon, your team,
Oh,
Wavelengths. You guys have already made a couple moves. What have you guys
oh
done?
yeah, we picked Shutzi. Really, really good, solid third guy for me. And then we picked Miscut, even though it took a little bit more time to get that one going through. But at the end of the day, we got a good base for the team, which is important. One of the most essential things to me is have a really good base that can always be there. Oh, Polk.
What am I watching? Yeah, this is shit, man. We are absolutely the amateur casters or amateur content creators of the fucking world anyway. So it fits. But yeah, no, I mean Shotzi. I think that's a huge pickup. Like being able to grab him before the draft. No one else can get him. You got your guy. You don't have to worry about it going into the draft. And obviously, you're bringing back Speedy as well. Or I assume you're bringing back Speedy. I should say.
Speedy's always been here. One of the, I think it's the third highest MMR on Amy. Number 2.
Number 2.
1, 2, 3. Dabs and Soul Sphinx.
Oh, I forget about Sphinx. I never
Yeah, they're both 9-10. Speedy being 9-5. We have the second MMR, and then we added Shoots and Misgod. So we pretty much have a team going. We're just waiting for the draft so we can pick that second player. That's kind of like the missing key for the moment.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then we had Eternal Doom. You guys might know him as Cobra Kai. Picked up by Energy as well.
The legend.
The legend. There is 3 things in this world: death, taxes, and Cobra Kai and Emmy tier.
Oh,
So, no, I think he's a good pickup for them, though. He's a solid player.
I think he's a solid player. He's just he brings a lot of experience. Even
yes.
Even if you don't, let's not be mean to him. Even though he's like the meme of Amy, he always brings experience and he brings like consistency, right? You know what you're getting with the guy. He's been here for what, 9 seasons?
A long time. That's
A long
sure.
time.
I
A very long time.
Longer than both of us, that's for sure.
Yeah, longer than both of us combined. And you know what he brings. And also he went to, what was the team he went to?
Energy.
Energy. That's that new team, right?
It's a rebrand. It was What's Seen on TV, I believe.
Either way, if you want to rebrand, you want to have like a good base player that knows what you know what you're getting. You're getting like a certain value with the guy. So
and they haven't had an Amy team before either. Like even their last team, I think it's brand new for them. So
and maybe that's why they wanted the legend of Amy, just to maybe tell them how it goes, right? Give them like a few pointers on how the Amy tier goes.
Yep, I think that's really strong. I mean, just bringing in somebody that can teach everybody, even before your preseason game. Like he knows everything. He's gonna teach you how everything goes.
And at the end of the day, Amy being such a small tier, it also gives you like a lot of chances to have that bring like back a trophy to your oh my god, to your team. So can Amy's be wholesome this season again? We are always wholesome.
I mean, yes,
aren't we?
Yes, always.
That's why we do this podcast, because we're wholesome. I mean, no.
Oh, I love it.
Last season wasn't wholesome. Look. Last season was scary. I'll agree with that. Last season was, we had a team that was pretty much always on first place. We couldn't you can move the bag. Then we have the whole thing with Raptor going on. A lot of things went down last season, and it made it pretty chaotic, I will say.
Well, season 14's back to wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome bag, right?
Oh, I love it.
Last season has Steven. Hey, Sailor Steven move up. We're all surprised by what he did. That should never happen. Contender was more wholesome than Amy.
That's
don't worry. I'm on Contender now, so I'll make it chaotic again. So don't worry about it. We have it covered.
So we were just talking a little bit about how there is so few teams. There's only 8 teams. So if you really want to go hard in any division to try to win, Amy's one that you have less competition. And I say that because the Garden has been making some moves. We're looking at a few trades that have gone on. really hasn't been a lot in Ami tier for the most part. A lot of like small stuff, fourth rounds, whatever. But we had two kind of bigger trades go on, and it involved some other tiers as well. But the first one that happened, Garden kind of moved up 4 spots in the third round. Energy traded away the 20th overall pick to Garden. Garden traded away the 24th, so moving up a little bit in the third round there. And then the kind of blockbuster that's, I think, a really good trade from both teams that just happened is, what is it? Just whatever it is. The old Warbirds team. They're some pirate team now. I don't know, but they traded their 5th overall pick to the Garden in exchange for the Garden's 8th overall pick.
That's quite a big one, to be fair. In Amy, when players, have players that are gold, players that are diamond, it's really important to just get a good first pick.
Yeah, being able
good
to
first pick, it's
move
just
up 3
critical.
spots is huge. I'm gonna quickly transition, and I forget I should finish my sentence before I clicked that button. Also, I didn't realize that was as loud as it was.
When does it get done?
That's all right. Don't worry about it. We're on the Google Sheets now.
We're on the Google Sheets.
So this is a very unofficial draft over. Super unofficial. I don't have I don't have any sort of connection to get the official, but based on the draft order that was originally put out, plus the trades in the first two trades. Yeah, there we go. I kind of mapped out what I believe the first 3 rounds of Amateur is going to look like. You'll notice a couple of them are kind of grayed in. I can zoom in here a little bit too so you guys can see this a little better. No, I can't. It doesn't work. There it is. So, wavelengths, pick number 2. Again, I would say most people believe that, I don't know how the draft works, but I'd believe that Speedy is going to be taken there.
That's what I believe too, yes.
And then I think the big reason Monty moved out, Sees Despair, is they're keeping Sololo, and they can do that from the 8th pick as well as they can do that from the 5th pick, and they were able to kind of pick up a much better pick in Challenger. But what that kind of leads to is now all of a sudden the potatoes, Garden has pick 5, pick 9, and then pick 20. So, whew.
Pick 5, 9, and 20. That's really, really strong.
And when you figure into both Speedy and Slow, right? Like, if you look at only the draftable players, now all of a sudden you can say they have pick 4 and 7.
I mean, and none of the like high end players you can say are on a team. They're probably all FA or DE.
I'd agree.
So oh yeah, just getting those 3 picks is gonna be amazing. There are a lot of like good players that could have that first round capacity or potential. So I don't know. I'm happy for them, and I'm kind of like excited to see what they do with this. What they'll do with this picks. And it depends, right? What's their strategy, right? I emphasize a lot of this to my GMs. It's the strategy. What are we doing? Like, what's the plan, right? And you gotta come up with a plan. If you want to take this seriously, well, a bit seriously, right? If you want to get the ship, you want to get that trophy, you need like a plan of how you're gonna spend your picks, right? And that comes with scouting, but more than all, just tryouts. A lot of tryouts. You have no idea this. Tryout in a name, it's just sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when you can sit down, you can actually hear comms. You can kind of learn a little bit more about your players and beyond just seeing them inside a combine messing around. Like that's huge. Yeah, I mean, Garden's definitely, I think, would be the pick right now, right? If you were a betting team, but just because they have the picks doesn't mean they're going to make them. Obviously, there's still time to trade out of them. There's still time for more trades, but also like they have to make the right picks. And with the group of players coming in, like I don't think anybody on the draft is a sure thing. I mean, it's Amy tier for a reason.
Right. Now, what medal with that big 116 and 17?
Yep, that's also really strong.
That is really strong. I don't know what if it's medal like a new one or rebranded. I have no idea. But damn, if they had no players and you bring me pick 116 and 17, I will be happy with that one a lot.
And I guess question for you, draft wise, and like not specific to this draft, because I don't want to give you giving up any information, but are you someone that would rather have like the first pick and like the 16th, or would you rather have like the 8th and 9th, or somewhere in the middle?
8th and 9th, I'd rather have 8th and 9th.
I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah, well, there's like some pros and cons to whichever, like what like with the first and 18 you said. There's like pros and cons. Like if you have the first pick, you get like an assured, in quotations, good player, but you also forgetting that it's RSC, it's 3v3, right? You need to build a team, and if you're counting on just that one player to carry yourself, like how good is a carry going to be your Amy? So you gotta be realistic.
It's true. Talking about the players, Amy, let's go take a quick look at who we have available.
This one is good.
I will zoom out here. We have the final tier list. You are looking at the premier players right now. I do need to scroll down.
You do need to scroll down.
I gotta keep scrolling down, and then when I'm done scrolling down, scroll down a little bit more.
Nedyar says first and 17th is usually better, maybe because of the skill gap. Alright, that depends.
I can see
again
it.
that
I don't know. Like the skill gap between 1 and 7 is, or 1 and 8 is obviously a huge thing, but also that skill gap between 9 and 16, I think I would be scared of. But I'd say Ned definitely has more experience than I do.
The top 2 Amy teams last year had the first and second picks.
Well, there you go.
But I mean, it also really depends, right? If you have like mid tier picks, you can build a lot of chemistry in between players. Then that's also pretty strong. So it really does depend. But I think the numbers will say something against what I just said. But yeah, I mean, both sides of the argument have like some pros and cons. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. Second best team also had one person they drafted by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Slow, welcome, by the way. Big rip in the chat for Slolo. Does not have the internet.
F's in the chat.
Work. We definitely wanted him to be part of this, but we'll get him on at some point for sure.
F's in the fucking chat. Bye. All right.
Kami and Solar were FAs. Okay. That's
that Kami pick. You weren't here last season.
No.
But at some point, I don't know if you know Kami. He got cut from his team. And the second team, they said that the team that finished second picked him up, and it was brutal. Like they were stacked, and everybody knew it, and we were all scared, but they were stacked.
Kami was drafted 4th, then cut. Okay, wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was like one of the. They sniped Kami. They actually did snipe Kami. Like I was pretty surprised. Who said my name? There he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
Well, cool. Yeah, I mean, quickly going over this list. MMR doesn't mean everything, but we already talked. Dabs and Sol Spinks. 9-10. Those are going to be your 2 top players.
I think they went down from contender this year.
Okay, that would make sense.
Unsure. Because I haven't seen them. I've been in pretty much every combine. Haven't seen them.
I saw Dabs once, but that was it. And I don't know if they were even there the whole combine, or if I wasn't there the whole combine, or what. Usually me and you end up in different groups. Unicorn Huntress is the next person that's speedy, sitting right at 905. Engineer Rocket League, Engineer Real Life. I don't know.
One of the guys that I haven't seen too much about.
Yep, I haven't seen him too much either.
Oh, Alpha Slayer. I've seen what he can do. he's a pretty solid player. He's like an all around solid player. I wouldn't say like you have like too much on the offensive side or too much on the defensive side. He's just like a solid all around. That's just what I like about him. I hadn't had the pleasure of hearing his come, but I'm sorry, from just watching the combines and just seeing him play, he just looks like really, really solid. And that's something. It's nothing impressive, but it's just consistent. That's something you cannot say for like every. You cannot take that for granted on Amy. You need constant, like very constant players that can just hit the ball over and over and over without missing it.
For sure.
That's what it takes.
No, I haven't seen a lot of Alpha lately, but like first couple combines, some private tryout stuff. Like, I mean, there's times that he just grabs the ball and just, you know, he's gonna score. Like, I know he got moved up to contender for a little bit of the combines, which is probably why I didn't see him for a little bit. But him staying in AMI, I think he's definitely going to be somebody to watch out for.
Obviously, I will really. He is certainly on my list of players that's just gonna go first round, assured, like,
Yep.
with no doubt.
Slowlo, we already know where he is.
Rips in the chat for Slowlo, who got moved down from contender. I'm sorry, we try.
Tell you what, gotta give him a shout out though. In Two's league, we went up against the number 1 and number 3 team in the league, and knowing we really had to like go 500, like that was kind of our goal last Tuesday. And this guy, I mean, he's visiting a college, like he's literally playing the game in a movie theater, like a private movie theater. Hooks up to the TV, he's like, I'll play, I got this. Ends up going 4-2, like, fantastic week for him. So
He has the worst mic known to man, but the man just makes it work somehow, and I don't know why. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure if you give Slowlo good internet connection and like a better mic, this man moves like to contender, no doubt.
oh yeah, I mean, just something with him and those Joy-Cons, like, it's impressive.
The man plays in like a Wii mode. It just does that. He's playing Rocket League trying to jump.
Oh, man. I love. So then you got Jaff. I haven't seen much Jaff. I don't know if you have. Jaffinator.
Jaffinator. I actually should I say this? I've seen Jaffinator. I had the pleasure of playing with him a few games. I had the pleasure of seeing him like a lot because he came to like a lot of like the earlier combines, and he's just, oh my god, it's just really a good solid player, more on the defensive side than on the offensive side. I have sorry
Oh,
damn
you're good.
I have notes on all of the players. I have cases on all of the AMI players that I've seen on combine, since Jaffinator is certainly like on my list of like low end of the first rounds, maybe first pick on the second round, but like I'm pretty sure he'll be most likely like from the middle to the end of the first round. That's where I see him.
Makes sense. Slow, don't believe tech. I don't use Joy-Cons. Yeah, it's the Wiimote. Sorry, man. Yeah, no, definitely not looking for you to kind of dispose all your notes. I know you've worked hard on them, but it's kind of fun to go through some of these players. Benatra, guy I play with a ton. Of course, he's in the chat right now. He's probably also watching the NFL draft.
BB.
I know I'm missing it right now, but very solid player. If I needed to pick any player out of this draft and just to score one goal, I mean, he'd probably be the last person I'd ever pick. But if I needed someone to rotate and be behind me when I tried to go for the goal and eventually missed, definitely would be there.
I don't know what you mean. I'll pick Sirius Q all day. Ooh. He's still on the tier list. I mean, he's gonna get drafted without being here.
Absolutely. Oh no, he's back. He's here again.
He's here again? Oh damn!
Yeah,
The
he only
back.
left for a couple hours.
Oh. It's just when you think he was gone, he just came. Bam! I'm back, boys. But Bernatra, I play with him. I remember playing with him, and I I'm pretty sure I haven't seen that consistency that you talked about, but at the same time, you probably have played more with him than I. So I believe when you say that maybe he's the player. If you had like to pick, if I had to pick one player to make a goal, I'll be honest. I will pick Haru. That's my pick. But we'll come to that whenever we get there.
Yeah, we can swing down. We'll probably start speed running this a little bit. Melted Wombat is super shooter. I enjoy playing with him. We shit talk all the time.
Is he one of the guys that came into our 1v1
Yeah.
the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, super cool then. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
he
him.
was
He's
the
pretty
one.
cool.
He was the one casting our game.
Oh my god, yeah, he's super cool.
He's funny as shit.
Didn't see him play. Super cool guy. I just saw him last combine, so couldn't get like an educated guess. Sorry, I couldn't get like an educated guess on where his skill is. But he, a lot of these players that are like upper 800s, you can always say that there's reasons why they're there. Why they're there. There's certainly like a bit of a skill gap in between diamond and platinum. So you can always say, you're getting like a sure value, like unless the player was carried up to that point. But if not, most people you can get like solid players for Amy. So and I'm pretty sure Melted One would makes part of that group. I'm pretty sure he goes on second round though, for the moment. Like that's what I envision.
I would not be surprised if he goes first.
You wouldn't?
I would not be surprised. No.
Like what big like?
I would
Like
be,
seventh?
It would have to be. Yeah, because there is no 8th. Yeah, so it would have to be like 7th.
Simulated.
Yeah, there's only 6 picks in the first round, so yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, there you go.
CB Hip Hop.
Oh.
He's not a new guy.
No, definitely.
CB's
I've
solid.
seen CB played like it was nothing on contender lobbies. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I mean, it's super good. And I think for a player that's 860, like it's a steal.
I agree.
To whomever can pick him, like that's it. That player's a good player. And he just plays in lobbies that are like 100 MMR above his, and he just fine, like nothing. It's just like, yeah, let me play, and he plays pretty good. So definitely a player that's going on the first round.
Country Wolf.
Definitely.
Another guy that, at least some of the combines I watched, was kind of a fan favorite.
He was. I watch him, and he's pretty much more of a defensive player, I will say, right? He has like this tendency of doing very wide rotations, which I do like, right? So he always has your back, which is a good thing to have on Amy. Talking about players that are like defensive versus offensive player. You know what I've seen, and I was talking with friends about this, is that you see more defensive-minded players than offensive-minded players in this tier. May that I kind of had that realization a few days ago. You just see more defensive players than offensive players, but Country Wolf just have like very solid rotations, and that's something you really cannot take granted for. But I still think he'll go second. Yeah, that's my guess. He'll probably go second, probably towards like third pick, second.
For sure. Let's finish up the 800s. Then Ned put out a comment. Just not be surprised if a low MMR player gets drafted early. I mean, I agree with that.
I know of them that will definitely get picked first round, and they're like not in the 800s. There's like a few of them. I can spot 2 that are like not the highest MMR, but I know they will be picked first round.
We'll tell you what. I mean, obviously, don't give away your secrets, but let's just jump.
It's not
down. Let's jump.
It's not
down
a secret. It's not a secret. We all know.
No,
Well-
for sure. Let's jump down under 800 and kind of who is some people that jump out to you. Obviously, Doom,
below-
myself, Shotzi, all gone.
Below 800.
Gone.
I mean, I kind of want to pick like in that 800 range, right?
Okay, yeah.
So give me like the first one is Haru.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all know.
That's-
Haru.
There like him being 810 is
It's a steal.
absolutely ridiculous.
Like we all know, this man is super good. He's super consistent. The comms on this man are just amazing, right? And like shame to the teams that haven't watched the combines and seen this man at action. He's really, really good.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be teams that are like he's picked early, and people are like, oh.
They're gonna be like, what?
And then,
What are you
then all of a
talking
sudden he'll score 3 goals in the first game of the season, and it'll be like, oh, okay.
Harrow's like one of the most cracked players that I've seen, and I think we have a player last season was called Laban, and I pretty much see him as Laban of the as the Suxy of this season, probably as the Suxy of this season because he's a complete steal, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes first. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes second. I will be surprised if he goes third.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He is that good. Slolo mentioned Atanas. Atanas, another guy, a little bit higher, 830, but like he does not play like an 830.
This man, Atanas, you know when I was doing my first combines as a scout, the first guy that jumped out of the screen was Atanas. First of all, he was really like the only one that was like communicating like a normal human being, like on a complete. It was complete chaos the first combine, right? It was complete and absolute chaos. Doom, I'm watching you. But the man just was terrorizing the entire lobby, right? And then I had the chance to play with him at the end of the first few combines, and the man was just cracking me up. I was going on the ceiling. The man was just challenging me like it was nothing. At that point, I'm like, this man just had to play the best game of his life, or this man is that cracked. I don't know which one is. I mean, at this point, I know which one is it, right? We all know that he's a really good player. But at that time, I'm like, this man, and I, and at some point, you have to ask him, is this guy really 830? Come on.
No, for sure. Like, going down through this list in preparation for this episode, I was seeing some of these names pop out, and it's like, obviously not being a scout, not looking at this like too deeply before, just like you'd kind of know based on playing with guys. And then all of a sudden, you kind of look down, it's like, oh, you got him at 830? Haro at 810? It's like,
what the? Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
And it's just not that. We have Salvation at 815. I don't know if you play with Salvation.
Yeah, no, Salvation. Yeah, another one. Very solid.
Another very, very, very solid. Like for me, definitely in the first pick round. Like not even without doubt. He's just, for me, he's just going a little bit lower than Harrow and Atanas because I still think they're top tier. But yeah, Salvation is one of those.
I'm with you, yeah. But I don't think I think he does slip out of the first round, unfortunately.
You think so? I don't know. I had the chance of playing with the guy again, and I've seen him play in combines. Of course, his skill fluctuates a bit in between games.
Yep.
He's not as consistent, I would say, but the man, whenever he's playing good, the man is an absolute beast. Yeah, I've seen him carry games by himself on combines.
No, I agree. I agree. It's just one of those. There's only 6 picks, and there's a lot of players here.
And after that, you get like, okay, so what's a first pick is supposed to mean, right? As the naming team, are you supposed to be picking that carry, or are you trying to pick the most consistent guy on the tier?
Yeah,
there's a difference between those two players.
No, absolutely.
Two types of players, different.
And it's all based on kind of what you're looking for.
And then there's me, Ethereal Doom says.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, some other people that jump out to me. Obviously, I got to shout out Underbred, just because he was on my team last season. I don't think Underbred's top tier. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on him, but at 750, I think that's a steal.
I think there's a ratio on what you get and what you give, and giving 750 for Underbred.
It's so funny.
You're getting more than much.
Because of course in the Emmy Discord, right? Like his name is not worth my MMR, and like you look at him right now, and
I mean, for me,
happy to pay 750 for them.
For me, Underbred board is like getting a pack of chips, and realizing after you buy it that you didn't pick one, you picked two, but you only paid for one. That for me is Underbred board. It's getting a free.
Right, like when you go to the snack machine and that someone tried to buy a bag of chips and it almost fell but didn't quite, and they didn't have the dollar for the bag of chips behind it, but you did.
Right.
and they both fell down, and you're like, whew.
Ooh, 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 ooh. It's a good feeling.
100 bag of chips.
But I mean, I think after Hero, we start getting in that category of like, okay, you're looking at a solid third man,
Yep. No, absolutely.
right? And people don't realize how important having a solid third man is. And that solid third man for me is so the player that for me has the most potential to grow. Right? This is where potential to grow becomes really important to me on that third pick, on that third man. You need somebody who's going to grow exponentially. Like, if we look back last season, probably not more of a third, but like it's a perfect example. It's Suxy. Suxy started the season.
Suxy should have been a third man, and then he just.
Suxy should have been, and then he should just. And he just cried. He just sniffed something, and he just became freaking Power Ranger and just dumped on everybody for the rest of the season. Yep. And I think that's what you're looking for. You're looking on one player that's like a bit lower rated, but that's gonna just sniff something, and he's just gonna like grow exponentially. And that's like, well, you kind of see it with tryouts a little bit, right? But it's also a gamble. A third pick, it's like a gamble.
Yep.
You're not sure.
For sure.
You think, but you're not sure. So it's pretty fun. I like it.
Another name I threw out there is Sprite. Sprite728.
I've played with Sprite. Oh, Sprite. We were talking about making Amy. What was the
wholesome?
Wholesome. Sprite definitely a wholesome person.
Sprite's the person, right? Like that they're not top tier, and that's fine. And they are just a wholesome person anyway, and then they score, and you just like feel great for them. It's not that it like never happened, and it's like, oh, they scored, like cool, let's cheer on like the bad kid. Like no, they scored plenty. Trust me.
Yeah, no,
but it's
definitely.
just like, oh, it's a feel good whenever you get.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why, but I feel when I play with Sprite at 2, and I feel like I'm playing with Elmo. Like such a wholesome character, and like every time she does something wrong, you kind of feel bad for her, and whenever she does something right, you're like, yes, come on. But like, what people often don't get about Sprite is that she has a lot of potential. Like for her being a what is she?
She's
760. That is, I still think you're on the steal part of the agreement there.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely.
Because that's usually.
I can see Sprite improving a ton this season.
I've seen people pay more for a third than that.
Yep.
Heirloom.
Cool.
No, I'm joking. I just love him. He's my.
I'll turn it over to you. I mean, is there anybody else in these in this area that kind of speaks to you?
I mean, Youngsling Blade. He's like what, 700 now.
Yep.
A bit of that's the man that I like to call that's a gamble. That is a good gamble because, well, first of all, often on Amy people tend to be a bit younger. Youngsling on the younger part of the spectrum on age. But also I can see like, when you see a player and like you see the little gears start rolling and he's kind of getting the pace of the game and he's kind of getting where he needs to be. Youngsling, I feel like he's like the perfect fourth because he's a player that you're gonna need to nurture the guy and bring some maturity into the person. But after that, I feel like this man is just gonna roll. That's what I feel because he definitely has the potential. That's what I'm saying. Like. Maybe then we have the people that have already been picked, right?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean,
I can't really speak on the people that have already been picked. Like instead, like Lord Shimiki, like an amazing pick for like a third or fourth.
Yep.
Dude was playing like a madman at the end of the season, and he was playing at the finals, and you could see like it was above his level, but he was still just rocking it. I think if Papa refined his demo, chasing.
Yeah,
Papa Lane.
Yep.
Is he is he FA?
He's FA.
He's FA?
Yes.
Dude. Dude. Papa Lane, at some point of last season, he was carrying his team. Like on the
I
male
was
season.
really surprised to see him FA and
But
it's not picked up yet.
Well, I haven't seen him. Right? As a scout, if I don't see you in combines, I can't make an educated guess on what you're doing. How much have you progressed? So it's really hard for me. And I'm pretty
that's
sure.
my thing. I've only played with / against Papa Lane and twos, in the preseason games or in what do you call it? Scrims. That's the only time I've ever seen him play. I've never seen him play
Right.
in threes.
Another guy that I've seen play a little bit is what was the name? Dolman. Dolman came to the last combines Wednesday, I think.
Right here. Okay. I've never
And
seen him play.
Dolman was playing pretty. He was playing okay, right? You could see that. That 740 is what you're paying for, but at least you're paying for what you get. Right? It's still a fair deal. Still a fair. It's still a fair deal on my eyes. So Dolman, you get what you get. And Mitochondriac too. Mitochondriac 666, you get what you pay for. Definitely. And that you may see it good, you may see it bad because people always want to get the bargains. But Dolman, Mitochondriac, I've seen them play, and you're getting a 730 player and you're getting a 740 player. Like,
You can't complain about that.
you can't be mad about it, right?
No.
There are players. Oh, I've seen players that are like 900 and they. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, like, but you've seen them, like players that are that rated and they don't belong there and they should be lower.
I mean, let's talk about Slow. He's 890. I wouldn't pay 700 for him.
Slow, definitely wouldn't pick a 680 for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go below tier minimum for me to want to have him on my team.
That well, last season though we had Cammy at like 740.
Just kidding, Slow.
Why did Cammy, if you can, what was your MMR last season? Was it 740 or something like that? He wasn't on the top end. He was slower. And then you see him play. I remember going into the combines with this man, with Cammy, and he was just destroying everybody. And I'm like, this man, 750.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
the man was just slow. The man was just freaking low, and nobody could. I don't know why. I don't know how RSC does its things. Like, they're super secretive about the way they do the MMR, but damn, that's all I'm saying. Damn.
Cool. I'll tell you what. Let's switch back to the desk and then we can wrap this thing up.
Sure, yeah. He was a gold player, but you can see that he definitely. You can see the glow on his eyes.
Man, tell you what, if he was a gold player to start the league, like
I would have sent my soul to. I would have sold my soul to have the guy if he was gold. Now that I'm picking players,
right.
the screen is beautiful. I know, right?
That's the thing. Like the people who joined in a little bit late, like didn't see us start here, so I love it.
Fun fact: last time I checked, Amateur and Contender has the most on D&D list.
Oh, I bet absolutely.
What's the D&D list?
Do not draft.
Do not draft. I mean, doesn't that make sense? Like, the lower skilled people has a lot of people on the do not draft list.
Yep.
Kind of makes sense, right? There are players that have been stuck, will be stuck, will always be stuck. But I mean, that it comes into like preference, like what can you deal with as a team, right? There are some teams that are ready to deal with more than others.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you're just gonna try to draft a team and kind of let them kind of do their own thing, there are guys you cannot draft. But if you have somebody that's gonna oversee that and work with them, now it might be worth taking a little risk on somebody that you can kind of work with.
More teams give more care to Amy, others give less. That's fine. I will never D&D someone based on skills. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, it comes I think it comes much more to personality and like if they're an ass or no. But I mean, as a scout, unless I see you be like a complete fool, or I know you from a previous season, I have to see, right? I've seen people that are so bad that I can't possibly take them, and then none of it like that's just happens. I know it's circling back a bit, but the idea in the ideal world where the draft is a ranking of how players will be, if we base off the SBB, then first and 16th round will get you Laban and Crypto, while 8th and 9th will get you Mike and Snazzy. That is the game.
I would like to see. I would like to see those.
He actually makes a good point.
I would like. I don't know which team would be better. I would really like to see those teams play.
Now, and here's my statement. I'm gonna say this straight up, not to like be mean to anybody, right? Compared to last season, I think Amy is not on the same level. Amy last season was cracked. A lot of really good players. A lot of players that just shouldn't be there were there. And a lot of like, well, I like, oh yeah, Suxy, Laban, Cammy, Kiwi, and so parts me, Taz. A lot of players that shouldn't be on Amy were on Amy. And now we have players, and you can see that now we're more on like how Amy is supposed to be, I guess. Right, a bit we circle a bit towards like, it's not worse. It's definitely. Oh my god, it definitely feels slower to me than last season. But again, we don't have Shroll. We don't have Shroll, and we don't have Kiwi. So
I mean,
yeah.
And to be fair though, like we're also comparing the beginning of a season to the end of a season, right?
Right.
I would love to see. I mean, just being a new person, like I would love to see us relook at this conversation, however many months from now at the end of the season. I can't imagine we're gonna have Laban and Suxy on the same team again. Like two new players like that, but it'll be interesting to see kind of who improves and who jumps out there.
And this is why it's so fun. It's just because you never know how much people will grow in the 3 months that we spend here.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, Amy players they either grow a ton and they just jump 2 tiers and they're straight out of prospect, or they'll stay like 5 seasons on Amy and then they'll grow eventually. But like you can have that crazy of a difference in between Amy players, and that's why drafting in Amy feels like such a gamble. Making an educated guess in Amy is hard. It's really, really hard, and I feel for the GMs and the AGMs because it's hard. You never know.
Not agree.
You never know.
We'll tell you what. We've been live for about 50 minutes. Let's do something way too early, right?
Right. Let's go.
What's your? If you cannot pick your own team, who you picking to win it all this season? We haven't even drafted yet. Don't even care. Go ahead and pick.
If I could pick like a team.
Yeah. You can't pick your own.
If I can't pick my own, I will say Slowlow's team, whichever his team is.
Yeah, so
Warbirds,
you
right?
Well, it was Warbirds. Now it's Seized Demise, Despire, something like that.
Here's the deal with Warbirds or with Slowlow's teams is that you have people that have already been GM while winning that tier. I think you've already had. I don't know why it's something about and well, you have Slowlow on the team, which is like really good. So if you can build a team just based on Slowlow, I think you have like a really good chance. The other ones are way too much of a gamble.
I also think like let's not overlook Lachlan either. Ed Creds last season kind of went out and grabbed him in a trade like very end of the season, and he's a solid player there as well. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
Not a bad play. Not a bad play. Lachlan, obviously, I haven't seen him play as of yet because he's been. But I know the man has been pretty much scouting every chance he gets.
Yep.
So at least you can say you have a very engaged player, and having very engaged players, I think, is overlooked sometimes. I feel like people go for the flashy player a lot, but they don't go for the player who's like going to be there each night, just trying to get better, and that counts for a lot. We beat you last game with season with luck. hey, good on you.
Ugh.
I must say, last season, at the end of the season, we had like a 3-4 way race to the third and fourth place to be on the playoffs. And it was completely crazy. I loved it. I loved every second of it, and I hope that this season you just have like a lot tighter of a season that we had, like where there's not a clear second or first, third or fourth. Everybody has a chance, and just make it as horrifying as possible for everybody involved, and just have it to be like as tight as we can. And I would love to see that, because that for me as a player, going on those games where it was life or death, that by far made it the most fun for me. By far, by a mile.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what that's like.
I mean, you'll know probably. Like
this season for sure. But no, I mean last season I was picked up to the Watts after they were completely eliminated for playoffs. So
what was the sad story of last season?
oh yes, tell you what,
Definitely.
I'm happy because it was able to get me some experience. It was able to get my name out there, and then it also set me up as a free agent to sign with whoever I wanted this season. So
How was the life of the free agent? I want to know. How's like getting on combines? How did that feel?
It's kind of essentially what I feel like being a pretty girl probably feels like, where everyone treats you really well, and everyone at least pretends to be into you.
I know I was playing that one. I was like, hey, Tech.
Tell you
Tech.
what, you were playing hard to get it sometimes too, though. Like you were going back the other way.
Because I realized you were what, 740?
770.
I thought you were a lot slower than that.
Yeah, no.
I was, you know what? I was hoping that you will be like bottom of the tier, just dead last, so I can just pick you up like that easy. But my dreams didn't come true.
Well, it was funny because I remember we were talking. I had made my decision at that point. I had not locked it in. I had not made it official yet, but I had made my decision. We were talking on voice, and I remember you saying, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to pick you up." And I was like, "Okay, well, you don't have a chance to anyway."
You don't have a chance. Man is a hot girl. It's like, forget it. I have people.
But I definitely signed off, and I was like,
I mean,
he wouldn't
you know
date
what?
me. He's not going to date me.
He's not good enough for me.
No, it was great. I mean, yeah, I'll keep everything.
You know what?
confidential.
Okay, I'll be completely dead ass honest with you. I'm happy that they pick you up, but also you have like a really hard journey in front of you, being a new team. Like essentially, you have nothing to build. Right. You're building from the ground up, of which like a lot of teams now have something to build upon.
No, I'm with you. I mean, realistically, that's kind of what made me go there. I know it's going to be a challenge, and I'm kind of ready for it. Like,
because
I only have so much influence myself. Don't get me wrong.
And I guess Ethereal Doom can vouch to this, but like a lot of teams have different philosophies of how they deal with the team, right? And being that first man in that first team on that very new franchise, you can say that, hey, maybe we can do it this way. You have more of a say on what goes and what doesn't. So there's some like pros to that, but cons is that you're very prone to like new franchise mistakes, I guess. Of which I couldn't tell you like which.
The good thing is while I understand that, everyone that we brought in as GM/AGM has tons of experience. So
yeah,
yes, it's a new franchise, but I feel pretty good about that. Obviously, I mean, it's Ami tier, and everything else is going to be weird. I mean, I'm very happy. We made a couple signings today in other tiers that I'm very happy to have as mentors. But like, I'm confident. I'm kind of sitting back. Like, I know I'm not the number one player on the team. Like, even though I'm the only one, like, I know I'm not the number one. Like, I'm hoping to be a solid third guy. I'm hoping they can bring in some good people with their picks, and I'm ready.
To be fair, to if you're on an Amy team and you know you're the first player, there's like this almost unrealistic weight upon your shoulders. Like, kind of feels like an anime at some points. And you feel like, I'm the captain, I need to make this work, and you have like a flashback of friendship like 10,000 times. But like, there's like a really good weight upon your shoulders, because sometimes you know that team needs to rely upon you and your skill to make it happen. And that's when sometimes teams shine or they just crumble.
For sure.
It's that first player.
For sure. I mean, obviously, I'm very new to Rocket League. Like, I get it. I am very happy that, I mean, I've been coaching and running StarCraft teams for 10 years now.
Shameless plug.
I know, right? But no, I mean, I've done that. I've done, I've coached football in the past. Like, my last job, I ran a rec department where we always drafted different sports teams and just did intramurals, and I've always coached them. So this is different. Don't get me wrong, this is different, but at least I won't be completely uncomfortable there. I've dealt with a lot of similar things, deal with a lot of personality type stuff on a daily basis.
But I always say you had like pretty much an unfair advantage on the fact that on the basis that you've already been on the top of a game.
Yeah.
When you already been on the top, and you already achieved like a really, really high rank. I'm not talking about like, hey, I'm master now, like, or whatever master is for StarCraft, or whatever champ is for StarCraft. Not like a middle high tier, like a really high, and you've played with like professional players, then you know how much effort it takes to get there, and like the work ethic that you gotta have, because it becomes a job that you really, really enjoy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like
so,
I said, we've done that. I mean, I've legitimately had professional players play on our team, and we were always amateur teams, so like really happy to see them get professional contracts and move on from us. But like, you always follow their career ever since then, but you also like learn from that. Like you understand, what are you gonna do? Like, how much work do you actually gonna put in? Like, how do you not only how much time do you have to put in, but also like do it efficiently. Like, make sure you're not just running games, like actually work on something.
And a lot of Amy players, coming back to Rocket League and RSC, a lot of Amy players haven't found yet that work ethic that's going to get you to the next step, right? We can all agree that coming from gold, platinum, and then diamond is like the shortest part of your road as a player on Rocket League, right? You'll probably get stuck on platinum, but not for that long.
Oh yeah.
But then you get to diamond, and diamond is kind of rough. And you get to champ, and that is disgusting. And then you get to GC, and God forbid you get to SSL.
Yeah, I know that's completely outside of my my goals ever, but yeah, like that total feeling, right? Like,
Sux is here. All we're talking about you.
What up, Sexy? A little bit of spoiler. Sexy's going to be our guest next week.
Ooh,
interesting. We'll be able to talk about the draft and kind of go on that stuff.
That draft is going to be crazy. I'll be honest with you.
I'm excited.
I don't know. I have like this dumb feeling that there's going to be like a surprise. Like somebody's going to pull like
surprises.
Godfather move and going to like get all the picks in the first round. Watch them. Like, something crazy
someone
is going to happen.
Just turns in their challenger team and goes, "You can have all my challenger picks. I want all your amateur picks."
I mean, hey, that's like different tiers have different realities. But dude, Amy, to be honest, I feel like Amy, like if you ever want to get a trophy, Amy is the place to do it.
Yep.
Maybe Contender as well, because they're so small. And when you have small tiers, you have bigger chances.
For sure.
1 in 8.
Anyway,
1 in 8.
I think this is time to sign off. We've been on for an hour. Mock, I appreciate you being on.
I appreciate you having me.
Always great to hear. Everyone else that jumped in, appreciate jumping in. Appreciate the conversations. If you missed the beginning, feel free. All my VODs are saved, so you can check out the rest of it. And other than that, we'll be back next week, same time.
Same time, same channel, boys.
Peace.
Whew.